What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1996 movie, The Craft. So this movie follows 4 outcast teenage girls who go to a private school, and they decide to pursue witchcraft for their own gain and start to experience negative repercussions afterwards. Like one of them has these really bad burns and she's trying to get rid of her burns. The other has this problem with this boy who started rumors about having sex with her after she wanted to go home early on their date, and other one is kind of living in a poor home and a broken home with a mom and stepdad that she doesn't really like, and then the other one is just always getting bullied and stuff by a couple of racist bullies, and so they start using witchcraft to get their revenge on these people. But as time goes on, stuff starts happening and they kind of have to go their own ways after some really crazy stuff happens and everything. But I don't want to spoil this movie for anybody who hasn't seen it. I know most people that are interested in this movie probably have seen it. It has a huge cult following, and it's one that has been on my radar for years. I've even had it on VHS for a while, and I never ended up watching my VHS, and I don't know what happened to it. I was planning on watching it last year as part of my 31 Days of Horror, and my VHS was just gone. I think I lost it when I moved, so I ended up getting a new copy on DVD and put it in here for my 31 Days of Horror this year. And I wouldn't call this a full-fledged horror movie, although it does have some really creepy moments and stuff towards the end of it. I wouldn't call it a full-fledged horror movie, but it's a really, really fun movie, and it's a great one to watch at this time of year because of it being about these witches and stuff. So I love that about it, and the cast in here are excellent, especially Fairuza Balk as Nancy. She's just a really, really great character, and I've always loved Fairuza Balk. I'm hoping I'm saying her name right. I think that's how you say her name, but I've always liked her ever since I was a kid. I loved watching her in Return to Oz, which is another movie I need to review sometime on here, and she was in The Worst Witch, which is another one I watched a lot as a kid, and I really like that one a lot, and The Water Boy, and she's been in a lot of good stuff, and this is one of her most popular roles, and I think she's absolutely amazing here, but everybody else is too. Robin Tooney, I hope I said her name right too, is Sarah, who's kind of the new girl in the school that becomes friends with these 3 girls, and she's really, really good, really a likable character. I really liked her in here, and Neve Campbell is Bonnie is really good too. It's really crazy seeing her in this movie after watching her in Scream all these years, because she's like a lot different than she is in Scream, except she still has a really likable screen presence, and I really liked her in here. And Rachel True as Rochelle is really good too. She's also likable. Like I said, all 4 of these girls are pretty likable for the most part. I mean, yeah, even Nancy is likable. Although she does go off the deep end as the movie progresses, she's still likable, and I think that all 4 actresses were amazing in their roles. And you also get Skeet Ulrich. I hope I said his name right. I always mess up with his name, but he plays Chris, the guy that is messing with Sarah, and she puts a spell on him to make him be like totally in love with her and stuff. It's really funny, although it does take a dark turn later in the movie, but he's really great in here too. Like it's really crazy that him and Neve Campbell worked together before they did Scream, because I think this movie came out before Scream. If it didn't, it came out right after. They came out in the same year, so. But it's crazy that both of them were in this movie. And then also two people I didn't expect to be in here were Christine Taylor as Laura, who's one of the bullies to Rochelle. And even though she's a really unlikable character, I've always liked Christine Taylor. I've always thought she was a pretty underrated actress, so it was cool getting to see her in here too. I didn't even know she was in this movie. And Breckenmeyer, who's always been who in the late 90s and early 2000s was one of those actors that I really liked, and he just kind of disappeared. He mainly does TV stuff now, but I always really liked him too, and it was awesome getting to see him in here. He's kind of playing this douchebag friend of Chris and everything, but he's funny in here and everything. He's kind of a comic relief, and he's pretty funny. But all of the cast in here are great. I love all of them. And this movie, I was kind of worried that I was going to think it was overrated because of how much I've heard about it. Like, I know a lot of people love this movie and everything, and I thought it was like, this movie is either going to be really overrated, or it's going to be as good as everyone says, or it's going to just be alright. Not as good as everyone says, but still a decent enough movie. But I actually thought this was a really entertaining movie. It was a lot of fun and everything. The only thing about this movie that I really that I guess if I did have negatives is it has a little bit of a slow pace during parts of it. It kind of slows down a little bit in the middle, but it's not really anything that really ruins the movie for me. And there are some visual effects in here that haven't aged as well. Mainly towards the end of the movie, but I mean, aside from that, I don't really have very many negatives with it. I thought it was a really enjoyable movie, and I can understand why it has a big cult following. Now, I remember when I was a kid and stuff, this movie used to be on TV all the time, and I never watched it and stuff, mostly because it was always like halfway over when I would see that it was on, or I wasn't allowed to see it too for a while when I was a kid too. But as I got older, I don't know why it took me so long to see this movie though. But it's really entertaining, and the cinematography and stuff is good in here. It has a really good soundtrack too. There's a lot of good songs in this movie. I actually am thinking about trying to see if I can find the soundtrack sometime and buy it, because I like a lot of the music in here. It has a lot of pretty good songs in here, and it's a really entertaining movie. It's one I look forward to revisiting during the Halloween season more often now that I've finally seen it. I might review the sequel that came out last year, the Craft Legacy. I know I'll at least review it at some point. I don't know when. I might do it next couple days or so. It just depends. I got some other ones I want to watch, and I want to try to keep up on my 31 Days of Horror, so I might not get around to it for a few days or maybe even a couple weeks, but I'm going to try to get to it as quick as I can. I may try to watch it here in a little bit, but yeah, I really enjoyed The Craft. I think it's a really good movie, and I wanted to give a shout out to our friend Chelsey from Love the Grunge. She was planning on being in this video and stuff because this is one of her favorite movies and everything, and she just like with the Rob Zombie Halloween movie, she wasn't able to be in here because of technical difficulties, so I thought I'd give her a shout out, and definitely check out her channel and everything. She did a really awesome video on Rob Zombie's Halloween. It was really cool, so definitely check it out, and thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And oh yeah, and I'd say I'd give The Craft a 8.5 out of 10. It's a really entertaining movie, and it's definitely one of my favorites out of the ones that I've watched in my 31 Days of Horror so far. Like, out of the ones that I had never seen, this one's definitely one of the best ones. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.